And a very good morning to you. You're watching Times Now Live. I'm Pratibha. The entire world has woken up to a shock of what happened at the White House. The US President Donald Trump and the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy clashing repeatedly in their meeting at the White House. In fact, Zelensky urged Trump to be cautious with Russia, and Trump accused him of being disrespectful to the United States. In fact, the Ukrainian president also warned Trump that Vladimir Putin's promises of peace cannot be trusted, after which Trump actually hit back at Zelensky and said that it did not look like he wanted peace as long as the United States was involved. It's an interaction that escalated into a shouting match, the last 10 minutes of the nearly 45-minute engagement turning into an intense back and forth, after which, believe it or not, the two leaders were seen almost yelling at each other in the presence of the media, after which a joint statement was also called off. Zelensky also cut short his meeting. Take a look at what exactly happened.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you are not strong...
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You
God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. Remember this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. Yeah, you're playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing cards.
Serious.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot of times.
No, in this entire meeting, you said thank you.
Even today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
So here's what happened at the White House. The leaders were seen talking over each other, raising their voice, no diplomatic language being used at all. Let's go across to my colleague Rishabh, who's joining us on the broadcast. Rishabh, this is absolutely unprecedented. We've not seen something like this take place. Two world leaders meeting and then entering a shouting match in the presence of the media. No diplomatic language whatsoever. They were talking over each other, and it escalated to such an extent that Zelensky cut short his trip and left. There was no joint statement as well. What next? Because the world is nervously watching. What does this mean for the Russia-Ukraine war?
Well, Pratibha, let's bring you some source-based info that has come in from the people in White House. How things panned out after this heated exchange. Heated exchange is something that the world has seen. Now, let's talk about what happened after this. So, diplomatically, how things happen. While the President of the United States is in Oval, the visiting dignitary is stationed in an adjoining room. So here, this is what happened. After this heated exchange between Zelensky and and President Trump and Vice President Vance, President Trump, along with J.D. Vance, the Vice President, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, and Mike Waltz, who is the NSA, huddled inside Oval while Zelensky and his team, along with members from the Ukrainian delegation, was waiting in anticipation in the other room. The four decided that the meeting cannot go on, and it was communicated to Mike Waltz and Marco Rubio that they should go and tell Ukrainians to leave. Then, both these leaders went in the other room, told Zelensky and his entourage that the meeting is over and they should leave. There's no press conference, nothing whatsoever. Ukrainians, what we are given to understand, that wanted this discussion to go on. They wanted to restart the negotiation before leaving, to which there was a clear answer from White House that it is not.
So the deal is off. That's what it almost seemed like. Rishabh, do stay on with us. Zelensky had traveled to the United States hoping to secure a deal with the U.S., granting them limited access to the natural resources in Ukraine. But the meeting ended abruptly, after which Donald Trump also took to social media for that statement. And here's what he said. We had a very meaningful meeting in the White House today. Much was learned that could never be understood without conversation under such fire and pressure. And he went on to speak about that outburst that took place, the quick exchange of heated words. And he says, it's amazing what comes out through emotion. And I have determined that President Zelensky is not ready for peace if America is involved, because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. I don't want advantage. I want peace. He disrespected the United States of America in its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he is ready for peace. So Donald Trump going on to say in as many words that it's not Ukraine that wants peace, saying he is invited to be back, but only if he wants peace. In fact, after the heated argument, Trump also claims that Zelensky disrespected the White House, saying he can come back when he is ready for peace.
Very thankful to Americans for all your support. You did a lot. I'm thankful to President Trump and to Congress bipartisan support. And I was always very thankful from all our people. You helped us a lot from the very beginning during 3 years of full-scale invasion. You helped us to survive. Nobody wants to finish more than we, because we in Ukraine, we are in this war. We are in this battle, and battle for freedom for our lives. So I'm just telling that I think that we have to be on the same side, and I hope that the president on our side together with us, and that is very important to stop Putin. And I heard from President Trump a lot of times that he will stop the war, and I hope he will. I respect American people, and if I don't know if I think that we have to be very open and very honest, and I'm not sure that we did something bad. I think maybe sometimes some things we have to discuss out of media, with all respect to democracy and to a free media. But there are things where we have to understand the position of Ukraine and Ukrainians.
So is this going to be the end of the rules-based order? What does this mean for the entire world? Several leaders have taken sides already. In fact, Australia said Australia stands with Ukraine. So Anthony Albanese saying that Australia is with Ukraine. And it's not just Australia. European countries also came out in favor of Ukraine, picking sides and saying Russia is the aggressor. The French President Emmanuel Macron, the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau as well, going on to say Canada stands firm with Ukraine. So the world leaders making their sides clear. Several European nations also took to social media to say that this is about Ukraine's dignity and Europe stands with Ukraine.
We stand with Ukraine. I've had meetings with President Zelensky on multiple occasions, including, of course, in Kyiv, in Ukraine, where I travelled very early on in my Prime Ministership. And this year, we've seen that land war in Europe go on for 3 years. The people of Ukraine are fighting not just for their own national sovereignty. They are fighting for the international rule of law. Australia has committed some $1.5 billion to help Ukraine defend itself. More than $1.3 billion of that is military support. We will continue to stand with Ukraine for as long as it takes, because this is the struggle of a democratic nation versus an authoritarian regime led by Vladimir Putin, who clearly has imperialistic designs not just on Ukraine, but throughout that region.